Welcome to Building a Boat by the River. My name's Matt.
And I'm Ifke, and together we're building a 41-foot wooden sailing boat in southern Tasmania.
In this action-packed episode, we're going to build a bowsprit from sort of start to almost finish, or where we get to, obviously. It's 14 foot long and made from King Billy, which is a very rare and special Tasmanian timber. So we hope you enjoy this episode and let us know what you think in the comments. Oh, and we've almost hit 20,000 subscribers. Almost. So please subscribe and we may just make our little goal. Thank you. Okay. So first things first is I'm going to thickness all this stock down to 32 mil. The bowsprit is about 6 inches by 6 inches, a bit over. So I'll make them all even, thickness them down, check out the quality, and then prepare my layup of what stacks I want and which ones are going to go where. So the bowsprit timber we're using is called King William pine. It's only grows in Tasmania. It's a very special wood. It's probably vaguely comparable to Sitka spruce. It's light, strong, and incredibly rot resistant. The biggest driving force behind the King Billy was the rot resistance. Weight is not such a big issue for us, but bowsprits often rot out. I'm sure many of you out there have had a rotten bowsprit at some point, so that was quite important. And it just popped up. So sometimes wood appears that is exactly the right length and exactly what we want to make a bowsprit. So we decided to run with King Billy. Way back in Tasmania with the Hydroelectric Commission, so when they were making hydroelectricity, they made these big pipes out of Oregon they started with, and that actually rotted out. And then someone obviously twigged, why are we importing wood from Canada? Why don't we use our own wood? So they, in turn, used King Billy in these massive hydro pipes that are just ginormous. And they lasted for many years. And in fact, some boat builders have reused that timber again to build boats. So it's amazing, this timber, King Billy. It's very rare. Super rare, and the stuff we found was just perfect for this job, and we couldn't say no. So if you're feeling bored, do a bit of Googling on King Billy. It's quite fascinating as a tree itself, and this wood here is incredibly old. So I hope we're putting it to a worthy cause. So one more.
So that's 5 laminations.
What we have here is 5 laminations, 14 foot long bowsprit, and the width is about 6.5 inches. Going imperial here today, not metric, sorry guys. The bowsprit tapers down, starts quite square, comes down, and it will end up roughly, I think, halfway through these laminations, like that, and like that. I should get a different colour pen. This is not good drawing. Okay, horrible drawing. Impossible to see what's going on, but the bowsprit goes here, within the laminations.
So you'll see the side or end grain of everything?
Yep. Appearing in here, there's slight wedges that get cut off and it tapers down. So you will see these laminations fall away. This morning we're going to glue the bowsprit together. It's 5 laminations together in a big long plank, creating the bowsprit, and then we'll taper it down. We're going to use epoxy, thinned epoxy on both faces, and then a slightly thicker mix as well for good adhesion. We'll basically flop them all down, wet it out, and then clamp it together as a pack, and then we can come back and bring it down into a bowsprit in the next couple of days. So it's a bit dark and cold today, but we had a good glue up yesterday with the bowsprit. So all the clamps are on, looks like it was evenly applied pressure. We were careful not to over tighten the clamps so as to not starve the joints of glue. The next thing to do is I'm going to remove all the clamps, and then I'm going to try and get a straight, clean, square edge of the lamination side, so that I can throw it through the thicknesser and hopefully clean up both faces so that they're square and true and perfectly straight. This might be a little bit of a mission, but I'll see how we go. To make it square. Okay, so what I've drawn on this table here is a mock-up of the bowsprit and the taper, and how much we're going to sort of taper it in at the ends. And also where the crans iron, which is like the fitting on the end of the bowsprit that takes the two bowsprit shrouds and the bobstay and the forestay. So that's going to be a big bronze casting, how that sort of seats on the bowsprit. And there's a couple of spots along the bowsprit, so at the aft end, the inboard end, it meets the Samson posts and goes between them, and there'll be a bolt through there. And then a bit further on, we're going to probably go hexagonal and then square again to take the stem fitting, the stem casting, to hold that in, and then a bit further again to take the anchor roller. I've noticed on a lot of boats it's always annoying, the anchor, where it sits and lies. So we're going to try and push it out a little bit off the bow so that when it comes up it can seat and not ram the stem of the boat. So the flukes, it doesn't come in and hit the stem every time you house the anchor. So that's a little bit tricky to make it look nice, but we're just playing with some sort of mock-ups here, and at some point we'll have to commit to a plan and taper it in to what we think. As it stands, it's only tapering an inch, so half an inch each side, from the anchor to the end. So it's not much taper, but we'd like the strength there, obviously, is quite important in the bowsprit. It takes a lot of load. So I think my next plan is to throw the big bit of wood through the thicknesser a couple of times to check how square I am and straight I am. And then I'll probably start thinking about tapering it in and drawing it on there. Okay, we had some power issues. Power went out basically, but we're back online. We're going to thickness the piece of wood, take it back, make sure it's square, and then go again.
Powered.
Now we're powered. That's the bits, aft face, 7 foot. So we had a good chat with Dave, our landlord. He's actually a boat builder and a spar maker down here. He's made many masts in this shed and for various other boats, so he's great to chat to when we're trying to work out how to approach a project like this. He brought up a very interesting point, is that when you're cutting your taper in the bowsprit down, you should actually put a bit of curve in it, or else the optical illusion, as he explained, sort of makes it look almost hollow. So we've put, I don't know, it's 1 or 2 mil curve in the center, so built up a straight edge by 1 or 2 mil. And we've made a pattern and drawn this on here. And it actually does show that it needs a little bit of curve. So we've drawn our taper on the top here. The next thing to do will be to actually circ saw that taper out along here. Necessary, but it's always good to be kind of square.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Okay. So we've tapered the 4 faces now. So now what we're doing is we're going to grid it down with our little circle circumference, our round here. So this is a round at the big base, and I've just measured in a distance where these diagonals meet, so where this line crosses, measure in, and then I'm measuring in from here. So that's the beginning of our taper. And then I'm going to go and do the same down this end, measure in. So that should be the taper for that end.
Can you see?
Okay. What's going on?
Well, this grain is so wavy
Oh yeah. Oh, I've got to...
that you can't do it with this spoke
No.
shave. So I'm doing it with this, but it works really well.
So, wow.
You made it into a wheel.
Yeah, nice. Oh wow, that really takes it down quickly.
Yeah, amazing.
Line here to break up this grid again to go not from an octagon to something else.
So the chalk line is center.
Yeah, chalk line centre, and then theoretically doing this, marking in from our circle jiggy, should give us. What am I doing wrong? Oh, this one. Where's my 10 mil there? No, there.
I can't see. Oh, there it is.
This is theoretically the next arc to break up.
So then you would use a plane to
plane down this corner, but then we also have to draw it on here, but we've got this problem. Shit, it's a bit warm. 30. Okay. So our faces weren't all the same width, which they are close enough now. So now we can start properly rounding it down. So we're just putting our batten on each side to create more lines to work to again for the last time. And then I'm just marking the distance as we come down. So we're doing 10 mil down this end. So we've gridded this up now to create more faces. So we're going to plane between here and here, here and here, here and there, and so on, and create a flat, and then finally we'll start rounding off.
So we've gone from 4 faces of a square to 8 faces of a hex
Yeah.
octagonal, and
Yeah.
now we're going to 16 faces.
Yeah. I reckon we should go a bit less.
No, 24.
Yeah, it's a lot
24
of faces.
Look how beautiful these curls are.
Yeah. Hair curls.
There's so many lines.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Stay tuned. We will be releasing another episode within a week or two to finish up, or hopefully finish up the Bowsprit, and you'll see it in its final form. Big thanks to our patrons, subscribers, viewers, all of you. It's always amazing that you guys are making our little boat building channel possible, and we can proceed with our building. So if you do feel like supporting us, just check out our Patreon page. It means a lot to us, and it's always very surprising when a new amazing patron rolls in. So thank you. Really?
You just clean that bit of floor. Clean the floor.
Clean it up, baby.
Clean the floor.
Make a little sawdust angel. Go grab it. Go get it.
So cute, aren't you?